Hey guys, in this short little video I'm gonna show you how to use the abilities of the Marvel characters I've been putting out recently. I will leave a little card in editing for each character, so if you just want to find the instructions you should be able to find it with relative ease. But without further ado, let's check out our first avatar. Alright, our first avatar that we're looking at is Ant-Man. Now this avatar is pretty self-explanatory. It has a trigger on the left wrist right here, as you can see, pops up, and it also has a toggle switch on this red button here. I'm going to show you what each does, but when you equip the avatar for the first time, or just in general, it by default starts in the red mode. Now if you were to grab this button and click it with menu button, you'll see that it turns to blue, and that does something completely different. By default you start off with red, and if you toggle this when in red mode, you simply just shrink. So to toggle this, you just grab it and then let go pretty much immediately. In Fusion, I recommend doing it as quick as possible, because how it works is that it spawns a zone on your head, pretty much, so to tell what rig to swap, pretty much. And if you hold it on in Fusion for too long, due to compensation and stuff, someone can accidentally bump into your rig and maybe they get triggered too by accident. It's very rare, doesn't really happen. I've tried to optimize it as best as possible, but this is what happens when you trigger it in red mode. And we are now tiny. Tiny as hell. When in tiny mode, you run fast to compensate for you being tiny, and you also get the ability to double jump pretty high for maneuvering reasons. A lot of fun to use in hide and seek, maybe even in horror, so definitely have fun with that. When you feel like you're done in shrunken mode, you simply do the same thing, grab it again, and you'll grow back to normal. Now both the shrunken avatar and the grown avatar that we're going to look at later are not accessible through the normal equip avatar. It's not accessible through the body mold, so that's only accessible by using these triggers. If we now switch to blue mode, we will no longer shrink when we trigger this, but we will instead, well, grow. We are now Giant Man instead, and obviously in Marvel, well, media overall, he's way bigger, but to make it work with the switching and all that, I had to make some compensations. But I say it's pretty good anyway. He's pretty big, can stop most vehicles, obviously a bit buffer, bit stronger, more mass, all that stuff that you get from being bigger. When you feel like you're done being big, you do the same thing, trigger it again, and now we're back, and now you can swap back to red mode if you feel like that. And that's how Ant-Man works in this pack. Moving on to the next avatar. Here we have Bruce Banner. He has a gamma device on his right wrist here. He works very similar to Ant-Man, and basically it's the same logic, just different swap. So if we take this and just grab it and let go, just like with Ant-Man, this will happen.
Hiding. Mutation imminent.
We're now the Hulk. The Hulk, just like the alternate Ant-Man variants, are also hidden, so the only way to become the Hulk is to become Bruce Banner and then toggle his gamma device. With Hulk, you can jump very high with a double jump. You have increased strength, increased mass, all the stuff you need to be the Hulk, pretty much. When you feel like you're not angry anymore, you have a grip right here. Grab it, just like you did with Bruce Banner, and we're back to being calm again. Pretty straightforward. Now let's move on to our next avatar. The next avatar we have right here is Captain America. He doesn't have any special abilities per se, but he does have his shield that I've made, and I think it turned out pretty good. This shield is pretty much bulletproof. Can't really get through here due to a double collider system I have going on. Has hit sounds. It can easily be used to fight with. You can also choose to hold it in either your left hand or your right hand. It's really up to you. Captain America also has a custom hip holster on his right hip here, which is great for carrying around your 1911. So, other than that, Captain America is a little buffed. He has a bit more strength and a bit more vitality than your normal avatar. And he also has a bit of a double jump, because that's always good for maneuverability. But other than that, he's pretty much normal. And that's all you gotta know about Captain America. Moving on to our next guy. This next one is a big bad, and probably one of the ones I worked a lot on. This is Thanos with a functional Infinity Gauntlet. I say functional, but right now, as of recording, only 3 of the Infinity Stones have real power. So that's the Power Stone, Space Stone, and the Reality Stone. So purple, blue, red. The others light up and all that, but they don't have any powers assigned to them at this moment. But I'm gonna run through the powers and just tell you how to use this. So the Infinity Gauntlet is pretty simple to use. All you gotta do is grab the stone you want to use. I want to use the Power Stone. I push the menu button, and now whenever I grip, you see that I have a grip that's showing up. It's always visible to me. So I grip, I make a fist, and then when I push my menu button, on Quest I believe that's B or Y, I'll shoot a void ball. And this is only limited by how fast you can click. So if we go into slow-mo, it's limited only by how fast you can click the button. So here's hoping you don't have slow-mo perms in a fusion server you end up in. Once you're done with your Infinity Stone, you grab it, you press your menu button again, and you disable it. And then you can enable the next one. Now the Space Stone, I did get a question about from someone who thought it was bugged. Because what the Space Stone does when it's activated, is that it changes gravity. Now, some people might be confused about how that works and why I've made it the way I have. So let me just demonstrate what it does. So I've equipped Thanos, I've turned on the Space Stone, and now I'm going to turn on its power. And now gravity is going crazy. Whoa, we're flying up, slow and steady, and everything. Literally any physical prop will go flying. And when I feel like I'm done with that, deactivate it, and we all fall back down to Earth. Now you might feel like, oh, I want to do that again. Well, what? You can't! And that has been made like that on purpose. It's not that I want to be a buzzkill or anything, but realistically, in a fusion server, if you've done this just once in a very crowded map, a lot of props are going to fly up. And even a beefy PC will have a bit of an issue with all those props and all those physics calculations. So to avoid people going in and spamming this on and off and on and off and on and off, I made it so it only works once per level load. So when you've equipped Thanos on the first level load, you can use it once, and then you have to reload the level for it to work again. And you can be as happy or as mad as you want at me about that, but I'm not going to change it, because I think that's for the best. But when you're done with your Space Stone, you just gotta grip it, turn it off, and now we're gonna look at the Reality Stone. And that one is always fun. Ooh, confetti. They do that, spawn in what they do first time around when you turn the Reality Stone on. That is something that is being worked on, but for now it's fine. So this one shoots a couple of wooden props. Fun story about why it's shooting a box. I messaged Erithos and asked him to give me the first breakable prop he can think of in Bone Lab, and well, he gave me that. So now this shoots a box and a chair and a bit of confetti. This is what he has cost. But it's for good fun, and it's pretty performance friendly because once you've shot enough of those, most of the time they break, and if you have Scene Janitor, you can just go into Misc Cleanup, even if you're not in a Fusion server, and clear all debris, and it'll clean it up for you. So in that way, it's nice and optimized. That's all Thanos can do, pretty much. He's obviously jacked and can do pretty big jumps. It's not really on the Hulk level, but he's just as tall as the Hulk, punches pretty much the same. So yeah, that's how he works. Now let's move on to our next guy. Our next hero, I should say, is Vision, or the Vision, or however you want to call it. He doesn't really have any too unique powers. He has flight, And how you activate that is that you push both your menu buttons at the same time on both controllers. And then you'll also notice that his legs swap to a pair of fake dummy legs that don't crouch when you're flying. That's how he works. Let's move on to our next guy. Right, our next guy is the Wolverine. Now this one is a bit interesting. It's still very much work in progress because these systems that he uses is pretty new to me, so I'm still learning. He is my practice dummy. But the way he works is he has a grip on his chest, you grab it, press your menu button, and now whenever you fully make a fist, you got your claws, which are fun. Fun in theory, because honestly, they don't work against players because of how Bone Lab works, and they only work half the time on NPCs, which I know will be a disappointment to people, but I wanted to make a Wolverine that had claws, and at the very least, they are full of aura. If you want some claws that actually work properly on NPCs, I recommend you get the Wolverine claws made by Gojoram. These ones. And they line up pretty well with my Wolverine's claws here. So I definitely recommend getting those if you want the proper experience. But if you just want to be aura farming in Fusion and grab someone and be like, look here, bub, then, well, now you can. Let's move on to the next guy. Our final guy on the docket is Tony Stark / Iron Man, obviously. When you equip this, you're obviously just boring regular Tony Stark. Doesn't really have any stats that are too impressive. He has a bit of enhanced strength and stuff like that. But where he really shines is where you grab the grip next to his arc reactor, push menu button, and now you have an Iron Man suit. This has basic flight, just like how Vision works. You jump and then boom, you got flight. You can also see that the legs changed, so he also has flight legs. Something that we can't see in the shadow, but we can see if we clone ourselves, is that he also has particles coming both from his legs, so his feet thrusters, and his sort of backpack, bit of like a jetpack. So that's fun. Now, what you might have noticed is, but hey, there's no repulsors. Well, there's a grip here, similar to Ant-Man's, but you have to grip it and push menu button. Once you do that, you can see that something clearly activated. You now have access to the repulsors. And that's how they work. You push menu button and you shoot a projectile. Turn them off, and you might feel done with the Iron Man suit too. Well, you can just disable that. There we go. Very cool. And that is how all of the current avatars work in this pack. There may be updates where I add more characters. I definitely have some more planned, but the basic gist of how most of them work is there is usually a hidden grip somewhere, and if you are confused about anything, please look back in this video or look in the description, because I'm usually pretty good at writing out how to use specific things. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helped you understand how the stuff works. Bye!